Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some ideas on what to post so that way we can get you to start generating new high quality leads, messages, conversations that then ultimately will lead to conversion. So it's all about connection, all about authenticity, and people really do want the best. They want to know that they're in good hands and that they're with someone who's knowledgeable and is an expert in their field. Again, it's totally okay if you don't have a ton of before and after photos. If you're still establishing your portfolio, that's not an issue at all. Remember, everyone starts at the same place. I didn't have before and after photos, and interestingly, I never had anyone ever ask me in the beginning of my career, can you show me some before and after photos? Can you show me my work, some of your work? And I think the reason why, or I know the reason why, is because they were sold by my passion. They knew that this was something that I was extremely passionate in. They knew I was invested, and they knew that I was going to do anything and everything I could to help them feel more comfortable about their stretch marks and scars. And if I think about getting a service done like this that I feel really self-conscious about and insecure, I want to make sure that I would book with someone who I know has heart. And don't disqualify that about yourself. That goes well beyond having before and after photos, and the before and after photo, that's going to come, it's guaranteed. So we first need to focus on really building your brand and your messaging so that way people can begin to establish that trust and connection with you before they actually book a consultation and get you on the phone or in person. So that brings me to the first thing, is congruency. You want to be sure that when you're doing videos, you're doing content, you're speaking from your own essence. You're not trying to be someone that you're not, because the worst thing that you can do is have someone meet with you in person or be on a phone call with you and be totally thrown off because you don't seem like the person that they were expecting you to be. That's why I'm a huge advocate for doing video, because you can't really fake that. And again, if they're already establishing a connection, literally a connection to want to, pick up a phone and reach out to you, it means that they're looking for that congruency and consistency, because that establishes trust when they actually meet you in person. So just be yourself. You don't have to be anyone else except yourself. And the people that are drawn to you are going to be drawn to you for you. And remember, we are our own personal brands, and we are in a lot of ways selling who we are, and I would never want to sell someone that I'm not. So that's the biggest thing, and that helps to translate trust. Whereas if you were dating someone and you're talking to them online and you meet them in person for the first time and they're completely different than what they seem to be, that would create so much mistrust that you would probably not go on a second date with them. I don't know why I always go to the dating analogies, but that's what comes to me, and that's what you don't want to do when it comes to your business. First impressions are everything. And a lot of times those first impressions are being done on social media. So a couple of other things to keep in mind is creating connection pieces. So with connection pieces, it's really, what are your hobbies? What are you passionate about? What other identities do you have? Are you a mother? What's your background? How do you manage a business? Are you an entrepreneur? Do you already have an established business? Who are you? Are you into fashion, photography, traveling? Those are those things that create that connection piece that allows the viewer or a potential lead know that you're a real person, and that personal and personality exudes from getting to know the other facets of who you are. And that's what people find interesting. Are you into fitness? Those are those connection pieces that I would share, because other people that share those common values and similarities are going to be drawn to you very naturally. You're not trying to convince anyone to book with you, nothing of that sort. You're literally creating relationships with people who are also drawn to the same things. And then that makes your sessions, your tattooing sessions, even more enjoyable, because a lot of people that you will work with will have common interests as you. So that would be my first thing. And then the second thing is making sure that you create educational content. Educational content can be frequently asked questions. What happens if you tan, or how long does it take for someone to heal after a paramedical tattoo? Anytime you create educational content, you're establishing yourself as an expert. You're establishing yourself as someone who's really competent and knowledgeable. And remember, things that come really easy for us, or that we kind of assume as common sense, is not common sense to someone who has never heard of paramedical tattooing. And because paramedical tattooing is so new, they're going to come out the gates with a ton of questions. And so the more questions that you can answer naturally, the more motivated and more confident they're gonna feel in being able to message you for more information and or book with you. So anytime you do educational content, you are always establishing yourself as an authority. So that's the fastest way to start making it look like you are more established than maybe you feel, because you don't have a lot of before and after photos. So that would be my number one thing to do. And again, you guys already know how I feel about video. If you can answer a lot of those FAQs on video, you're going to be much better for it in the long run. And then the only other tip that I have is you do want to try and stay consistent. So a little backup, I'm not a huge rule follower in the sense that you gotta post 3 times a day in between these hours, because to me that just feels like overworking. And I didn't start my business to feel stressed, overwhelmed, and I didn't start my business to work for social media. And so I'm a little bit different when it comes to my social media strategy, in the sense that everything is intentional. Everything does have a strategy to help lead a follower introduce them into my ecosystem, establish that trust and credibility and comfort level, so that way they do feel comfortable to book a consultation with me, or reach out to me. That is always my goal. But when it comes to how many times I post, at what times I post, I don't follow any of those rules, because again, I don't want to create a business where I'm working for social media, if that makes sense, right? Like, I started my business to work for myself and to create a business on my own terms, to design a business on my own terms. And so for me, I do understand the importance and the value of social media. I am on social media, but I post when I'm inspired. I post when I know I need to do a series of videos to help artists who are certified, on what next steps they need to take. And so when I'm inspired by those things, that's when I really, cram out the content, and just have fun with it. Like, have fun with it. This is your business, and you don't want to feel obligated to do anything. You don't want it to feel like a chore. And if you know, as you're watching these videos, that social media is just not your thing, outsource it. There's nothing wrong with outsourcing it. It's totally okay. And choose someone who can replicate your voice and your essence and what it is that you want to establish. I still think even if we outsourced our social media, I would still be delegating the mission, the intention, the strategy behind it, because I don't expect someone to know my business better than I do. But yes, absolutely delegate the video editing, the captions, all of the things that you don't want to do, have them do it. And so I'm a huge advocate for that. If you already know social media is nowhere close to being fun for you, so that way you stay in it for the long haul and you can be consistent with it, instead of burning out, giving up, and then just going MIA, because that's not going to help grow your business.